smile, bringing smiles to the world. We're hitting first base. Marty Lurie with friends. Home run, you know the ways and the trends, the stories all with the match of the block. It's Marty and friends. Marty and friends.
All right, great to be with you as we get ready for playoff baseball. We've had 3 good games already, honestly, this week, but it's nice to be with you. We'll talk some Giants baseball. We'll talk what's coming up in this division series, which I think is fascinating, the matchup. So with us today, of course, Eric is with us today, Giants Sports Talk Live. And
yes, sir.
Our good friend and a wonderful baseball fan, and that is Rick Smith is with us again. Rick, how are you?
Hey, boys. Good to see you.
And you can hear him, and that is Barry Bloom is with us from Sportico. And Barry, one of the outstanding veteran baseball writers. And I've known him for years, and I'm anxious to get his thoughts about the playoffs and about what's going on. So we've got a good show for you. You can comment as I can look to the right as Rick Brown starts our comments tonight. Skip Schumacher signs with the Rangers. How about that? That takes him off the Giants list. And Barry, let me start with you on that. Is that one a surprise for you?
No, I thought that was kind of a fait accompli when Bochy stepped down. I mean, he was, Chris Young's first choice. He was in the organization. And, he was just ready to go.
Yep. So Skip Schumacher goes to the Rangers. Bochy. Let's talk about Bochy for a second. Barry, what's your thought on Bochy? Where does he end up in this whole shuffle? Why does he step down? Where does he go? He's not coming to the Giants. So what happens with Bochy?
Well, he stepped down because, Ray Davis, who owns the team, told Chris Young that they want to downsize and get rid of a bunch of their high-priced players. And Bochy, at 70 years old and no longer under contract, did not want to come back with a rebuilding team. And so they agreed to part ways. So basically, Bochy needs to go to a team that needs to be taken over the cusp. He's not going to go to there. And a lot of teams out there with jobs are just like rebuilding situations at this point. And Bochy's not going into those situations. So my call is, and I don't think it will happen, but I think, judging by what happened with the Padres in Chicago, that you get rid of Mike Schilt and you hire Bochy to bring them over the top, bring him back to San Diego, and give him a 2-year contract. And that's the element that's missing. When they hired Mel a couple of years ago, I told AJ Preller you need to hire Bochy. Bochy didn't want to go with them at that time. I don't think AJ made a full-hearted effort either. But their managers, they've gone from Tingler to Andy Green to Mel to now Schilt, and they're just not. They're winning 90 games during the regular season, but they're just getting to the playoffs and they're just not doing anything. And I really do think that as long as Manny Machado is the titular captain of that team, they aren't going anywhere unless you get a manager in there who knows how to control him and harness him, a la Barry Bonds and a lot of the guys Bochy has had to deal with over the course of the years. Otherwise, I don't see any place for him.
Wow. Boy, great insight. Rick, what do you think about that?
Well, that's something I never thought about. I'll tell you that. I mean, that's, I just assume not have him come back because he has such a great legacy here. And, why come back to where he was so successful and have his legacy eroded? I guess he wants to manage again. And Barry's right about that's a great call, by the way, if you're right. He goes to San Diego, and there's something wrong down there. There's something wrong. Didn't work with Melvin. Didn't work now, and But but the thing is, they had 3 games to play. I don't know if that tells you a lot. But I love Bochy. We all do, and I think letting it go is the best way to do it.
All right, Eric. Let me ask you this. We'll start the discussion about the Giants. Were you surprised that Melvin was let go on Monday? And I'll say it this way: Shayna Rubin did an article this afternoon, and Barry, I don't know if you got to see it, or Rick, if you saw it.
I saw it.
Yeah, online, saying Melvin didn't understand. They really didn't explain to him why he's not back, and sort of blamed a lot of the moves that they made that sort of fell into Melvin's lap, and he had to deal with it. So let's talk Giants a little bit, Eric.
Ooh, wow. I am not surprised. I think it could have gone either or. I think it was a 50-50. They may have brought him back. They may not have. And I think it's just the way that the club finished at the end of the season. And more to that, it seemed like anytime the Giants got where there was a little bit of pressure, they kind of fell by the wayside. When they played with no pressure, it seemed like they excelled. And is that because of Bob Melvin? I don't know. Look, the managers throughout the season are going to have some faux pas, right? And is it fair? I don't know. But the way that the team finished at the end, it just didn't seem like he was probably going to come back. Now, to the point that you were kind of alluding to, Buster Posey traded away 2 relievers that could have possibly have helped the Giants down the stretch, right? With getting rid of or trading away Doval and Taylor Rogers. So there was something at play there. But at the same token, it's what are you going to do? You can't get rid of players. And unfortunately, managers are fall guys to a certain extent. So it didn't surprise me that Bob Melvin was let go.
Yeah, Rick, did it surprise you at all?
I was 50-50 with it, like Eric. It didn't surprise me, but on the other hand, I like Melvin. I think he communicated well. I think his strategy, his game day strategy, was good. I don't think he made any bonehead moves. The team lacked some fundamentals, though, in the middle of the year that were kind of inexcusable. I would have benched Ramos when he didn't know the infield. I don't know how anybody doesn't know the infield fly rule. He's played for probably 10 years, right, when he was a kid. That was unacceptable. But, I liked him. I thought Melvin was okay. There's something wrong, though, as I mentioned about San Diego. He didn't have any success down there. He was 500 here. That's not what Bochy. That's not what Posey's looking for. So it shows you where he doesn't think he's got a 10-year window here. He needs to get this done now and see what they can do. They should have made the playoffs, he thinks. He got Devers for that purpose. Unfortunately for the Giants, they ended up with too many of the same players.
Barry, you know Melvin quite well. What was your take on what we're talking about?
Yeah, to your point, I go back with Mel to when he was backup catcher with the Giants. So, I've watched his entire career trajectory, and I covered him in Arizona, I covered him in Oakland, covered him in San Diego. This is my take on it. As much as I love him as a person, I feel like he lost the scope of being able to manage the modern game. He was controlled by Billy Beane and Dave Forst for so long in Oakland that he was not able to make his own decisions in rapid fire to basically run the team. And then when he went to San Diego, he clashed with Preller, he clashed with Machado and Tatis. And by the time they made the playoffs and went to the NLCS the first year, and then the next year they don't make the playoffs, and they were ready to just when the Giants came and asked permission to talk to him, they said, sure, go ahead. Kind of like what the Padres did with Bochy back in the day. It's like, yeah, under contract for 1 year, go. If you can get an offer somewhere else, take it. And that's what happened with Bo. And I think the situation was, really same in San Francisco. He was a mediocre manager at this point with no touch anymore for the modern game. And I think he clashed with Zach and management and people like that. And I know for a fact that he did, because I read text messages that he sent to people who I'm close to, saying that he did not have control of what he was doing with the team. And I think you get to a point where Tito, when I did a story on him about a couple of weeks ago, and I asked him about control of the team, and he said he has control of the lineups. He goes, I'm too old not to. And I think these guys in their 60s and close to 70s, they've been around so long, they are not good in the game where you need a manager to be a middle manager between your baseball ops and your players and the media, and that's all. You don't need a personality, and you don't need somebody as a manager who wants to be autonomous and independent. And I think that's why Mel was gone in San Diego, and that's why he's gone here. And he's going to have to go. I think he's done. He's outmoded, and he's not going to get another job. And the Giants, I don't know what they're going to do, but don't be surprised if they go back to not obviously Gabe Kapler, but a Gabe Kapler type.
Oh, no.
Who they can grow with over a long period of time.
Oh.
Yeah. Well, let me give you my 2 cents on this thing. Rick almost jumped out of the screen when you said Gabe Kapler. But I think that Barry is right on the level here. I think they want someone who can get along with them. And in a way, I understand when he's making the comparison to Kapler. They want a guy who can sit down with Zach and sit down with Randy Wynn and sit down with Posey, who's one of their contemporaries who they can trust and work whatever Posey says his work ethic has to be. If they want more defense and to drill the players more, and everybody takes batting practice and whatever Posey wants to do, this person is going to be on board and they can talk to him about doing it. Where, like Barry says, if you go to Melvin with these kind of things, he's going to be repelled a little bit and it's not going to be as smooth. So with that in mind, I'm not surprised Melvin's gone. I thought it was 60-40, roughly 70-30 that he would be gone. I'm not surprised, but the guy who's coming in is going to be one of their guys. And whether it's Craig Albernaz from Cleveland, if they feel that's a guy they can deal with, Nick Hundley, who I think my personal choice is Nick Hundley, because he's got enough charisma, enough personality to walk into being a manager in San Francisco. This is one of the top markets. Let's face it, you come in to be the manager here, you better have a lot of confidence as a human being, because if things don't go right away, the fans, everyone else, you're under scrutiny. So I think the issue for Melvin was not being close enough in the group, and I think they want somebody in the group now. So I'll throw that to you guys. Eric, how do you feel about that?
Yeah, that's a great point that you're talking about there, Marty. They're going to want to get someone in here, but I tell you, it's going to be an indictment on Buster Posey if it's a guy and it doesn't work out. This is probably going to be one of his most important decisions that he's going to have to make as a Pobo. This is going to be his guy. It's not a leftover. This is someone he's going to have to choose, and it's going to be in a distance. It's funny how you mentioned that, of how you mentioned it's going to have to be one of their guys. Well, FP was on the KMBR the other day, and I don't know if you happen to hear it, and I called in and I talked to him about it. His idea was having Buster Posey become the manager and then go find a Pobo somewhere else. I mean, right? If he wants the work ethic, because he talked about that in his presser, talking about someone who is crazy about work, right? Obsessive about work. Hey, maybe Buster Posey floats in there now. Do I think that's going to happen? No, but I think it's a fantastic idea. It seems like he's got the pulse on the team. He knows exactly what he wants. But
I'm sorry, Eric, it's not a good idea. They hired Buster Posey as president of baseball operations. He's got a 3-year contract. He's got to turn this thing around very quickly.
Right.
And he's a part owner of the team. He's not going to be down in the dugout running the team. So, I mean, where they go and they get a guy for it, you inherited Melvin. He wasn't your guy. The crazy thing about all this is why in the middle of the season did they pick up his option? And okay, so they did, and it protected Mel, and good for him. He's getting paid next year to sit around and do nothing. And maybe, the Diamondbacks who like recycling people, maybe they bring him back in an advisory role because that's where he was before he took the Oakland job many years ago. So, he will surface somewhere, maybe not on the field, maybe as a coach, because if he wants to stay in uniform. But, right now, I agree with you. This is going to be a major decision for him and and I'm talking about him, Posey, when they move forward. And if they make a bad decision on this manager, then where do they go? Because now they've lost all this time. And as you know, and Marty, you've covered it as long as I have practically, it's like every time you bring in a new general manager, it starts all over again. Every time you bring in a manager and new coaches, it starts all over again. So it's a reset button. You've reset the executives last year. Now you're resetting the baseball downstairs this year. And you only have one more year to go under Buster's contract to get this headed in the right direction.
Yeah.
Well,
Great point.
Go ahead.
I agree with your last point, Barry. But look, I'm bewildered here. I thought that when Posey took over in March, that he was asked the question about who was going to run the game and who was going to dictate the line.
Manager.
And he said Melvin was going to dictate the lineup. He wasn't going to interfere with that. I hope you're not saying that you want to go back to hand of the front office.
I'm not saying I want to do anything. I'm just telling you that.
More to the point, do you want the front office to tell the manager when to take somebody out of the lineup, when to put them in, when to put a relief?
That's where baseball is right now. Baseball ops, they script the game. The best managers in the game that are left, guys like Doc Roberts in LA, they basically fall in line with what baseball ops wants them to do. And if it took 10 years for them to allow Roberts to start to deviate, which he did very well, and it helped win the World Series last year when their starting pitching fell apart and he really had to manipulate the bullpen.
Well, look at the team he has. I mean, forget about managing that team. Look at the team he has, the talent he has. I think that's a crazy idea to go back to where the front office. That's what got Madden out of the game. Remember when Madden went crazy when he was being told what to do? I think that
Madden's out of the game because he got fired.
And a Kapler philosophy is not the way to go, in my opinion. I'd be surprised.
I don't think they want to go Kapler on this franchise and control it to that extent. But I do think they want a guy that they can sit and talk with. And it's not going to be someone they can't trust. They have to trust the person. And and Barry's right. Look, analytics, it's funny. When you picked a manager years ago, the general manager picked a guy that he could drink with. And that's the guy he picked as a manager. Now you picked a manager who you can talk analytics with. And it's just a question of how much you want to control it. And I think Posey's smart enough to let the manager do the managing. I don't think it would be a Kapler situation, but it will be somebody who they can talk to. I feel very strongly about that. He's not going to bring somebody in and all of a sudden, hit June and say, holy shit, I can't talk to this guy.
Well, do you think Melvin was a renegade manager? That it was he
No.
wasn't in the front office? I just don't buy that.
I think as a human, maybe as personality-wise, he, as Barry explained, Melvin, after all the years, maybe was not as pliable or as open to discussing all this stuff as if you bring in Craig Albernaz, believe me, he's going to talk to you. You bring in Nick Hundley, he's going to talk to you. And I think that's what you're looking at. Let's get some of the comments.
Hey, this is. Let me just interject here. This is nothing new with Mel. Basically, he did not get along with Josh Burns in Arizona, and he would not listen to Josh Burns. And Josh Burns went over his head to Kendrick and got him fired. This is historic with Melvin. This isn't because he's getting older. He just doesn't like to give up the reins to the people who are above him.
Yes, I did say a bad word, didn't I? I think I did.
Hey,
But you're
You're
allowed
okay.
to, aren't
You're
you?
okay.
You're on
It's
it. Come on,
atypical.
you're on the internet. You can say whatever you want to say, right?
There you go.
It's Eddie KS24. Yes, I did. You're right. All right. Go back to Scott Warnick for a
Yeah,
second. How about this? This is Barry, this and Rick and Eric. Get this one. Yadier Molina or Mark DeRosa. These are the hot names.
Mhm.
Rick, what do you think about that?
I like DeRosa a lot. I like him a lot. Got a great personality. He's got good baseball knowledge, good experience. He's a player's manager, I think. Didn't he manage in the World Baseball Classic?
Yes.
Yeah. I think he was successful, or at least that was the reporting. I like his whole, just his demeanor and the way he discusses stuff. He makes a lot of sense. I liked him as a player, even though I got hurt with the Giants. I like somebody like DeRosa.
Barry, how do you feel about both of them?
Well, Yadi, I think he at some point, look, he's a catcher. Catchers by and large make great managers because they know how to run a game. They know how to run a pitching staff. They hit, they have a full scope of the game that an infielder, an outfielder, a pitcher certainly doesn't have. So Yadi, I think somewhere at some time is going to make a great manager. But I differ with you, Rick, on DeRosa. He did do the World Baseball Classic. He's doing the World Baseball Classic, the U.S. team again this year. Talk about a guy that they had there just because he was a mouthpiece and good on camera, but he was going to just follow the dictates of what their people were telling him to do. That was DeRosa. And I thought he could not. He had no clue how to use a pitching staff or a bullpen. And essentially, it's even tougher in the World Baseball Classic because you have all these stipulations that are given to you by each individual club about what day they can pitch, how much they can pitch. It's spring training. They have to stay on their spring training regime. And, there are nights when you want to throw a perfect guy into the game and he's not available because his team doesn't want him to pitch. And that's all dictated to DeRosa before the game. And he has to follow that. There's nothing else he can do about it. So I was not impressed with DeRosa. And as a major league manager, forget about it.
I like the personality, but Jerry Manuel really ran that team, right, Barry?
Yes.
Yeah. All right. Gary Mintz, New York Giants Preservation Society, the professor.
I like it.
Ron Wotus, a winner, still young enough and a great mind. With all due respect, and I love Woe, why not?
Yes.
I don't know if he wants to do it. That would probably be the thing.
He wants to do it. Come on.
Well, he's been out of the dugout for a few years now, and he is part of the inner circle with Posey. How about it? Come on, bring
my
Woe
number
back.
choice.
I love it. Love it.
I think he'd be a good traditional Giant choice.
Yes, I hear him every Sunday with you, Marty, and then he's on NBC. He breaks down the game. I mean, the communication skills that he has is incredible. And look, he worked under Dusty Baker, Felipe Alou, Bruce Bochy. He's got the instruction to go out there and be the manager. I think honestly, it's like you said, Marty. I think it's up to him and whether or not he wants to do it.
Boy,
plus he's a connector, connecting the Bonds era with the championship era, with the current era, for long term with the Giants. Or how about Dusty back for that matter? I mean, he's 75 and he's just been away from managing a year or two. He just won the World Series with Houston a couple of years ago. I mean, you got him sitting right there. What's wrong with him?
I think Wotus would be better at this point. I think better choice. I like Wotus the best.
All right. What about going this college route they're talking about?
No.
It's going to happen in baseball. You know that it's going to happen. Remember Bobby Winkles when they did that with him, Barry?
Yeah. How did that work?
Not well. Not well. Even Pat Murphy, who came from ASU and Notre Dame, took a few years.
He's turned into a terrific manager. But he's perfect in the situation he's in with a low payroll, young team with a lot of rookies. who, he can work with, he's perfect for that situation. You don't have like put Pat Murphy in with the Giants.
I like Jim on base, right? Eric,
Jim on base, yeah.
Our good friend. I see
Yeah,
him
he's great. He's
spring
great.
training. I'm sorry. I decline to accept the job. I will not run. I'm sorry.
Yeah, with the college, look, the rah stuff, it might work in college. I just don't see that working in 162 games at
All
the
right.
MLB level.
Well, this is going to be interesting. I think we sort of all agree the type of person it's going to be. I think Barry tends a little bit more to the veteran side of it, and I go to the dynamic, a little bit of a personality, and also someone that they can work with. And that's where I think Nick Hundley. I saw Nick Hundley last week, and he was here for the Willie Mack Award. And boy, he was bubbling, and I just want to say that it was wonderful, to see him, and he gave me a big hello, and it felt very comfortable talking to him. So who knows?
He's a great kid.
Before we move away from Melvin, I want to just get back to one thing, and maybe I don't understand it that well. What do you mean when you say, I think both Barry and Marty said the same, he wouldn't work with the front office? He doesn't appear to be an obstinate type of guy. Could you kind of expand?
Maybe personality, Rick. Just maybe it was a personality clash. Like, you got Posey, Randy Wynn, and Zach, and then you get Melvin. And Barry, you know Melvin better than anybody, personality-wise. He's maybe a little guarded. Maybe he's not quite as open as other people, and I'm just speculating, but that could enter into it. It could just be the fit.
I think you mischaracterize him. He is a lot. He's pretty belligerent behind the scenes. He's got a very strong personality, and he doesn't like people telling him what to do.
Okay.
All right.
Well, he's gone. And he wants to manage in Japan. Well, how about that? That was his last comment to Shayna Rubin. Well, I mean, didn't Bobby Valentine go to Japan, Barry?
Yeah, sure. And he won the championship over there. Huh. With Chiba Latte.
Yeah. So we'll see. All right.
Let's 2 years.
Let's turn our attention here. All right. Wotus would be the most interesting choice that I think we talked about.
Number one.
Yeah, there's Craig Albernaz. I know they keep talking about him, and he was the guy who wanted to adopt Patrick Bailey. He said he was the best catcher he'd ever seen in his life. All right, I don't know. What can I tell you? I don't know how he would be as a manager. I just don't. Let's turn our attention to the division series, and we can touch on the wild card series a little bit. But let's do a break.
Sure.
And we'll come back. Barry Bloom, this is terrific. And Rick Smith and Eric, and the comments are really good. And we'll read more of the comments. One, I'll be too busy walking the red carpet. MJ, thank you. Thank you very much. Yes, the movie is doing well. All right. Let's take a break. We're going to come back. And I want to talk a little bit about this series we just saw and what's ahead. So we'll do that.
It's fall at River Islands and Lathrop, and the schools are back in session. There are 3 top-rated K through 8th grade academies within the community, and construction just started on Academy number 4. How about that? River Islands High School students are busy in the classroom and on the sports fields of their amazing new campus. Elsewhere in Northern California's most successful lifestyle community, they're putting the final touches on another park. This one with a playground, workout areas, tennis, a splash pad, and a picnic area. The fall weather is still perfect for launching a kayak or a paddleboard. Well, and I love that. Off your own deck and heading over to the Boathouse restaurant for lunch or dinner. More than 4,000 households have already made the move to River Islands. Today, with 15 neighborhoods priced from $600,000 to over $1 million, there's more variety in home styles and sizes than ever before. In fact, the only thing missing at River Islands is you. Start your tour at riverislands.com. Isn't it time for you to discover the islands? It sure was for me. Hello again, Marty Lurie here to talk about my good friends at Georgie Brothers, the largest family-owned furniture store in the entire Bay Area. Right now and good through October 27th. Now listen to this. You can save 10% on all qualifying stressless sofas, recliners, chair and ottoman sets, sectionals, as well as accessories in the stressless line. I love this line of furniture. Also, there's a $400 savings on all power recliners. How about that? This is absolutely one of the best stressless sales offered all year. You can literally save hundreds, even thousands of dollars. I own stressless furniture, and I can tell you it's the most comfortable place to sit in my home. Visit them at georgiebrothers.com. That's GIORGIBROS.com. Or even better, stop by their 50,000 square foot showroom in South San Francisco.
All right, great to have you back with us. Boy, this is good discussion. I really like it. I'll start with Barry Bloom. And of course, folks, it's great to have Barry with us and a wealth of information and knowledge about the game of baseball. Let's talk about the 3-game series. It sort of lived up to it this time. You know, usually they get swept in 2 and goodbye. This one, we had 3 of them go to a game 3. I thought it was pretty good. How about you?
Yeah, I did too. I mean, when you have 3 winner-take-all games on Thursday like we did, it basically speaks well for the system and how balanced the teams are going up against each other. Really, the only imbalance was the Dodgers and the Reds, and the Reds really didn't belong on the same field as the Dodgers in that series. Not that the Mets would have done any better, or even I think the Diamondbacks actually would have. I think if the Diamondbacks had won that spot and gone up against the Dodgers in LA, they have a little bit of a number on LA, and that would have been a much more competitive series than it was against the Reds. But be that as it may, when you get 3-game series with the Yankees and Red Sox at Yankee Stadium, you have game 3 on the anniversary of the Bochy Dent game. You have Bochy Dent throw out the first pitch, and then you have this minor league pitcher hadn't been up in the league until July 9th, strike out 12 guys and shut out the Red Sox. I mean, what more can you ask? I mean, it was a fantastic night. Sad for the Padres that their season ended so quickly. Great for the Cubs. I think that we'll move on when we talk about the other series, but then Detroit and Cleveland, I mean, that had been toe-to-toe for months. 15 and a half games out. The Indians caught them, beat them for the division title, went down had a tied series with in the wild card, and then Detroit came back and prevailed. It's like only under this format could something like this happen. You know, when I was saying that the year of the Bochy Dent game, if this format was in place and it was a winner was decided by home and home and face-to-face opposition, the Yankees had a 9-7 against the Red Sox that year. They would have won the division, and we never would have had the Bochy Dent game. So, yeah, I do think it lived up this year. But all those things, they get better and better as time goes on.
Rick, did you think the right teams won?
I thought Cleveland might win that one series with Detroit. But I like this format. I think baseball has it figured out. I think the higher seed getting all the games makes sense. Like the Reds getting in there, where they didn't. I agree with Barry. They didn't belong on the same field. My God, that Dodger offense! Wow, I don't like the relief pitching, but what an overwhelming offense, and to the same point, the Cincinnati shouldn't have been there, or kind of sneaked in. But I sure like the format and made all sorts of sense. I was kind of rooting for the Red Sox. I don't like the Yanks, and the Yanks bullpen's not that good. So who knows what's going to happen to them. But, yeah, I like the format a lot.
Yeah, Bednar's came through big time. And I thought for them, of everybody, he looked like a guy who actually had an idea. Eric, the right teams win?
Yeah.
What'd you think?
Yeah, the right teams have won. Dodgers, Detroit. I was rooting for Cleveland, but it just seemed like Detroit had just the better pitching. That was
Cleveland
kind of the theme, right?
Come on,
Yeah.
Cleveland stinks. They They couldn't
They
hit
can't
me
hit.
if I was pitching.
Yeah, and that's the thing is that there were some guys in a lineup. I'm like, I never heard of these guys before, and that's all. Look, Detroit's got a better lineup, and their pitching came through. And then I think that was the theme, right, of all the series was the pitching. And I'll tell you that Red Sox Yankees, talk about high drama. I loved it. I mean, what can you expect when it's Red Sox Yankees? And you got the first game, Crochet out there just dealing, Max Fried dealing, Aaron Boone, whether you agree or disagree, may have pulled out Fried too soon, loses the game. The third game, now he leaves the young kid in there for 8 innings and was able to get it done. So the storyline of the Red Sox and the Yankees, it was so much fun to watch. I really enjoyed that series.
Yeah, if Gary Mintz reminds us today is Bobby Thompson Day.
Yeah.
Wow.
So, Gary, you're right. Today was a day that broke the hearts of everybody in Brooklyn. And I was too little to understand it, but I was there when that happened. Eddie KS24, I agree with him. And I get your thoughts as we move forward. But I think the Giants would have given him a better fight than the
pitching.
I think they would have given him a better fight than the Mets too. Because you got, Webb and Ray and Verlander.
What about the Giants bullpen, though, Marty? The Giants bullpen.
That was it could have been trouble. It could have been trouble. But I think they would have given him a good fight. The thing is, and as we move on to this division series thing now, and Barry, we'll start with you on the Dodger Philly one. With this break in the middle, the way they do this, you get days off. Everybody's got an ace here. You're a big guy. Skubal could get 2 shots. Crochet, well, he's gone. But Ohtani, Snell, these guys can get 2 shots in a 5-game series. I think it's huge. Will Smith is out for the Dodgers. Trey Turner, you don't know if he's going to play for the Phillies. But the Phillies have those lefties, Sanchez and Suarez, and you do theoretically maybe slow down Ohtani, who's pitching the first game. You slow down maybe the left-handed Freddie Freeman as well, and you don't have Will Smith in there. So, Barry, we'll start with you on the Dodger series. This one looks like a great series.
I just think that, and I'll go out on a limb here, I just think it's the Yankees and the Dodgers to lose. They're back in the World Series again this year.
Good,
and they from watching them, they're the most talented teams in the league. In this series, to your point, Marty, the Dodger bullpen, which has been a problem, they will have Sasaki and Kershaw in the bullpen. Sasaki, in the 3 times he has pitched as a reliever since he came back, has been lights out. It wouldn't be a bad idea for Friedman and Doc and the boys to assign him to be the closer at this point. And you'd have Kershaw doing an inning as a setup guy in the 7th inning rather than the direct that they've been putting out there. Because even in the Cincinnati games, they were up 10-0, 8-0, and then the middle inning, they're the low leverage, quote unquote, relievers come in, which I hate. I mean, I said, why is there low leverage and high leverage relievers? There's 9 relievers. You can't have everybody do everything. You can't pay enough to have a bullpen so that everybody is a high leverage reliever that you can use in every spot. But be that as it may, those guys are a problem for the Dodgers. So you need their starters like Yamamoto did yesterday or Wednesday to go 7 innings, and you can get to the 8th and the 9th and not have to worry about this because you have Kershaw, Sasaki, Trinan, Tanner Scott, who's had a bad year, but you just have these bodies. You have tons of guys who have done this before. So, and as you guys were saying, and you, Rick, especially, when you said, come on, I mean, look at the team they've got. I mean, it was funny where Tito in the pregame on Wednesday was asked, well, Ohtani killed you last night. Did you ever think about just walking Ohtani? And Tito says, really, you kidding me? Have you heard of Mookie Betts and Freeman hitting behind him? And then you get to the 7th inning of the game, and what does he do? He walks Ohtani with a runner on second base, and Mookie Betts hits his third double of the game and knocks him in. They are so deep that, even you get down to the bottom of the lineup, and it's the same thing with the Yankees. The guys who are really contributing, you have Judge, you have Stanton, but I mean, Jesus, Grisham, Chisholm, Goldie, and Ben Rice platooning at first base. Volpe has turned it around after all the problems he had during the season. And he had a great series against the Red Sox. And they're starting now. They have like 2 starters now that are ready to go against Toronto, who are in their starting 5 this year. And Fried can go on Sunday on 5 days rest. And their bullpen, I think it's more not their bullpen is lousy. I think it's how Boone uses them. He's just a lousy manager when it comes to dictating his bullpen use, like the game with Fried. I didn't argue with him pulling Fried out after 100 pitches. Yeah, I think he would have been better off letting him finish the inning and then go to Williams in the 8th and Bednar in the 9th, nice and clean. But instead, he puts Weaver in. Weaver coughs it up. And now it's a big struggle what you're going to do because he's now screwed up the whole matchups and everything and turning around the lineup a couple of times because, Weaver loses control of the game in the inning. But, yeah, I just think watch the Phillies a couple of weeks ago. I think they're good. I don't think they have the depth of the Dodgers.
Well, the Phillies are vulnerable to left-handed pitching, and the Dodgers, at least Vesia and Dreyer, are guys that come out, and then they got Sheehan in the bullpen. Dodgers are loaded, Rick. I'll tell you, they're loaded. They're loaded here.
Yeah, they are, and they don't even have Smith. They got this guy I never heard of him. He can't hit at all. It doesn't even matter. I have
a feeling next Yankee too.
Yeah, it's incredible, and Betts is come into his own like you knew it. Well,
he's finally hitting.
He
took him all year. Yeah,
it wasn't going to be his year, and that's when he relaxed, started to hit like he usually does. There's a hell of a lineup, and they're also good defensively. They got a good bench. They're a hell of a team. Every great player or every really good player has a great year, and Schwarber's having one of those years. He really. And he used to strike. I guess he still strikes out a lot. Maybe not as much as Devers. Devers struck out 192 times, but Schwarber is really on his game, and he's hitting lefties too. And for the Phillies, they're going to have a hard time here. But there's a glimmer of hope for the Phillies in this series. I really think so.
Yeah, look, Schwarber, Barry, and Eric. I think Schwarber wasn't there some story he's the best left-on-left hitter in the game today? I think those.
He might be. I know he's up there, right? He's had an incredibly. He even has 10 stolen bases on a year, if you can believe that.
Yeah, he's good.
He's an incredibly one-dimensional player, though. He's the essence of this era with uppercut swings and exit velocity.
Oh yeah.
He basically is a strikeout or homer or nothing guy, and he's not the DH. He doesn't play the field.
So let's say that you watch the Phillies, the Dodgers, we saw the Cubs, and now we're going to see the Brewers. Where do the Giants stack up against these teams?
Terrible.
They don't.
Honestly, let's turn to that for just a second. If you're the Giants watching that first series and what's coming here and the pitching that's coming here and just the way these guys play, where do you start?
Well,
with Giants, where do you start, Rick?
Can I start out here? I'm going to say something outrageous. I already talked to you about this Monday, Marty, and I know it's kind of not crazy, but it's kind of bold here, and I might be wrong, but I would trade Eldridge right now. They got too many players that are just the same. Devers, Adames, Ramos, Chapman are all the same players. Devers is the best of that group. Obviously, he has more RBIs, more home runs, on-base percentage is better. He's a better player. But they all strike out too much. They don't. There's no thought. It doesn't appear to be a thought of any situational hitting. They don't move the runner. They've got nobody I thought Lee was going to be that type of player. Nobody to generate runs, nobody to manufacture runs, nobody to get on base, nobody to go to. I mean, they need about 4 young Wilmers to go to right field with 2 strikes. They got nobody. These guys don't do that. They're going to get Eldridge out there. He's going to be the exact same player. I know he looked good in a few at bats. He looked like he looked like he knew what he was doing, or trying to do what he was taught to do. Going the other way with power, I like that. But he was 3 for 28 with 13 strikeouts. That's exactly what they don't need. So that's going to be another player that's not going to generate more runs.
All right, Eric.
Oh man, and I guess it all depends on what you get back, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I think Buster Posey said that at the trade deadline. There's nobody that is untouchable, and again, it's all going to be, I think, determinant on who you get back. I think that's the case with anybody. Anyone's open to trade depending on what you get back to a certain extent. And I see Rick Brown. He says the same thing, and I think that's where the Giants need to go, right? Pitching. We're seeing it here in the playoffs. Marty, you've talked about this ad nauseum for years. Pitching is what gets it done, and Buster Posey has come out to say it. And to Posey's credit, he's whatever he says gets done. So I got a feeling he said starting pitching, the bullpen is something that they want to concentrate on. So I think that's something that we can expect with the Giants going forward. You just got to just score enough runs, and then you have the pitching, because up until about the All-Star break, the Giants pitching was up there, and that's what made them, the potential of maybe doing something because of the pitching that they had.
Yeah, pitching and defense. The defense was not good this year either. The infield defense was not great. The outfield defense was always a mystery what was going to happen. Lee's probably not a center fielder. He's probably more a corner guy. And Ramos is probably a better DH. All right, so Barry Bloom, you've seen a lot of the Diamondbacks. I've seen them as well down here. What do the Giants do? If you're Posey, where do you go first?
I think what you do is, going off the theme of pitching, is you go back to the 2010, 2012, 2014 championship teams, and you deconstruct those teams and analyze why they were successful. And they weren't successful because of offense. They were successful because they drafted well with pitching. They had Kane, Bumgarner, they had Lincecum, they had, they picked up good guys like, they brought Vogelsong back, who did really well for them. They had Sanchez on the earlier teams, and then the bullpen was essentially lights out. They had good setup guys, a lights out closer, and on every one of those teams, it was a different closer, but they were all just as good. They were exchangeable parts. And then you look at the offense. I mean, the 2010 team to me is astounding. It was like Aubrey Huff, and they picked up Burl off the scrap heap. They picked up Ross off the scrap heap. They picked up Torres off the scrap heap. Only Buster coming up in June and Bumgarner coming up in June solidified that team. And if Buster doesn't screw up his ankle in 2011, they probably even have a greater run than they did. But then those guys developed, Crawford developed, Belt developed, and they had a core that lasted for them until 2021, kind of like the core 4 with the Yankees. And when that dissipated, they haven't been able to replace any of those guys. They don't draft well. They don't have, the kind of pitching and position players coming out of the minor leagues anymore. To your point, Rick, you've got a one-dimensional guy who's at first base who you want to trade already before he even gets going. And these are the guys that the Giants are looking at. So what happened to Sabian? What happened to Ron Barr? What happened to what Dick Tidrow did in those years to build that team? And then Sabian working around the edges to pick up Marco Scrudio at, midseason and, have him fit in. And I mean, look, Cody Ross and Marco Scrudio won the NL Championship Series MVPs, and they weren't even with the team in July.
Scudero, exactly the player I'm talking about. Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. Those are the guys that win for you. And, this is where the Giants have to look back. Posey has to look back and say, how did these guys do this? And what do I have to do? What's the profile of the player that we need to win in this era, period? Because the Diamondbacks, I will tell you, were a much more interesting and much more exciting team than the Giants all year. They ran. They were not fundamentally sound. They didn't play good defense. But, where they have three guys on that team, Marte, Perdomo, and Corbin Carroll, who could play with anybody.
Yeah.
I mean, wouldn't Corbin Carroll be great with the Giants? That type of guy hitting the ball into the gap. He led the league in triples anyway. So,
that's why they got Gilbert, to see what he can do. Yeah, you're right. There's a big gap here. This end-based baseball, Eric, the Giants rank, put it up there.
Is it this one, the one with Adames or
Chapman? Yeah, and that's a good one. Then his other one is pretty good too.
I see it. Yep.
Yeah, Giants rank 26th in the league in team batting and 22nd in OPS. I agree. They've got work to do on the offensive side, exactly what Rick said, to be able to score some runs and create some runs as opposed to just sitting back. It's a park that lends itself to pitching and defense and score 4 runs.
Yeah. How about the game where they walk 10 times for 1 run?
Yeah.
Yes, it was 11 times they walked and scored 1.
To that point, in 2012, the entire team hit less home runs at home than Barry Bonds did in 2001 when he broke the record.
Yeah.
They didn't need all that power and all that, all that, as long as they had the pitching. And Kipe and Kruko called it suicide.
Torture.
Torture. And those were teams that won with like a 3-point-something ERA and scoring like 4 runs a game.
Yeah. No, look, Lou Marston said it. It was a different era then because the Dodgers were struggling and the Diamondbacks were struggling at that point. So, Lou was right on that. Someone put it out there earlier, Sonny Gray. Yeah, Sonny Gray would fit for me. The Verlander thing, God, I don't know what to say. I mean, first I was so adamant, not even a chance to bring him back. I don't know. Maybe he's one of those freaks like Nolan Ryan where he can do it again. But I like the Framber Valdez. I like the guy that goes like this. I like that guy, even though he got crazy with his catcher.
Verlander will not come back. He's going to get an offer, whether it's back. Detroit should have picked him up at the trade deadline, and he would have been great back there. He'd be great back in Houston. He's going to get close to getting his 300 wins. I mean, that guy is in incredible shape, but he's not coming back to the Giants. Not after what happened with him this year.
Okay.
So,
all right. All right, I agree with that. All right. Let's do our break, Eric. Then we'll come back. Let's make our picks and why your picks are for these 4 the series that are coming up, the 5-game series. So let's do that. I'm anxious to hear what you guys think and just a short synopsis of why you think that. So we'll do that right after this. Don't go away.
Hey fans, Gene Bagato checked in from Bodega Bay, and he told me that with the coming arrival of fall, they're expecting some of the best weather of the year up on the Sonoma coast. And what better way to enjoy such a fabulous climate than a trip to the Tides Wharf? At the restaurant, a varied menu awaits guests, offering such classics as New England clam chowder and house smoked salmon and fried calamari to fresh seafood salads. I love it. Pastas and grilled fish. If the beach is your destination, the fish market offers whatever food and beverages one needs for a picnic. While across the Great Hall, the gift shop has not only stylish beachwear, but the perfect souvenirs to take home. And if you're looking for an extended stay, just across Highway 1, the Inn at the Tides with its large, comfortable rooms and heated pool is waiting for you. Wow. So if you're looking for the perfect fall getaway not far from the Bay Area, look no further than the Tides Wharf and the Inn at the Tides in scenic Bodega Bay. Fans, joining us is Grant Power, President and CEO of Nations. Grant, last year we talked about the amazing breakfast at Nations. I'm going to ask you this. What's your favorite lunch?
I'm pretty split. I guess I'm kind of like a pitcher who has two favorite pitches they like leaning on. I'd say half the time I do the hamburger and half the time I do the wild salmon burger. It really depends on which protein you want. We love our beef supplier in Northern California. We've been with them for decades. We test our beef all the time. We sell ocean caught wild salmon. Friends don't let friends eat farm salmon. It's absolutely delicious. To mix it up, I guess it's like a pitcher who has a two-seamer and a four-seamer, or maybe a four-seamer and a cutter. I actually go grilled onions on my hamburger half the time and raw onions the other half. Today at lunch, I got the French fries, but half the time I get the onion rings, and I had a wonderful slice of pecan pie. There's something for everybody, whether you like hot dogs or grilled cheese. It's really up to the individual what mood they're in, but my go-to is either the beef with the hamburger or the wild salmon, which is absolutely delicious.
Wow, I love it. Grant Power, President, CEO of Nations. Grant, thanks so much.
Pleasure being on.
All right, good comments here. Gary Mintz says he likes Gray a lot, and add Brandon Donovan. That's one. Donovan and Burleson kill the Giants.
Yeah, they did.
They kill him.
Yeah, what did he have? 4 doubles in one game? Donovan?
Yeah, they did it last year. They did it this year. They kill him. And Jay Case predicted that Melvin would be gone and Verlander won't come back. All right. Haruko Hitaki. And, of course, he is criticizing the manager and the lineup and all that stuff. And we agree. Chapman, as we like to call him, doesn't want to be the cleanup hitter. He should be further down the lineup.
Correct.
So, any different players. All right, Barry Bloom. We'll start. Let's see. We'll give we'll each take a series.
Okay.
So, Barry, you pick a series and you tell me who's going to win it. Go ahead.
Well, we've talked a lot about the Dodgers and Phillies already. Let's pick the other National League series, Milwaukee and the Cubs.
Go ahead. You could do that one. Go ahead.
I find that the Cubs, it's an interesting matchup here where the Cubs were leading that division middle of the year, much like the other, the AL Central, where, you have a division where most teams don't spend any money. The Milwaukee has got $140 million payroll. The Cubs at 250 or so are not they're in the top 10, but they're not the Dodgers at 400 million or the Yankees at 350 million. So, and you watch as their teams with the Nico Horners and the Armstrongs and, the pitching staffs they have. There's a ton of rookies on the Milwaukee team who are playing over their heads. And I think these teams are built for the regular season. They're not built for the playoffs. And I think Milwaukee, and I talked a lot with Pat Murphy about this. I wrote a piece about them going at the end of the season. They're just what they were doing to try and stay sharp with that 5 days off in between the end of the regular season and the start of the division series, while the Cubs and Padres were knocking each other off. And the Cubs are going to go into the series. They're hot and they're sharp. Milwaukee is going to be flat. So I look at, they're pretty evenly matched. It's the unusual Pat Murphy, who was Greg Cancel's bench coach, is going up against Greg Cancel, the manager, and Murphy, kind of the defending National League Manager of the Year, who's done a terrific job. There's a lot of behind the scenes, really kind of nice storylines with this series. But I think the Cubs are going to win the series.
All right. He picks the All right. Now we're just going to give a thumbs up or thumbs down. Eric, you can start. Thumbs up, thumbs down. Cubs win.
I like Brewers. I like the Brewers.
Very good. Okay. Very good. Rick, thumbs up, thumbs down. Cubs win.
Thumbs down.
Yeah. And I must say, down it's okay. That's why baseball is a talking sport. Everyone's got an opinion.
If I win, I get one of those original Joe's dinners.
All right, Cubs win. You get an original Joe's dinner, Barry. If Cubs win,
I love it.
Barry's point about the layoff is a good one, though.
That is a good one.
Yeah, but
that
I
often.
just think the Brewers pitching, they got like 27 pitchers, and they all can go 3 innings, and that's the way these series go now.
Yeah, yeah,
You know,
Yeah.
But this group, there are the studs in this group. That we're going to be looking at guys who can go on normal rest twice, and that's huge. It's
Yeah.
huge. But, all right, that's
Let me
right.
just throw in. Let me just throw in here. I had the MVP ballot in the National League.
Yeah.
I did not have one Cub on my ballot, and I had Yelich was the only person from the Braves who was even close to being an MVP.
I
And he's the
understand.
one from the two teams that's on my ballot.
Yeah, I understand. Look, you're a Cub guy, as Harry Carey said. Cub man.
Yeah.
You're a Cub man. All right, Rick, pick a series and tell us who's going to win it.
Well, the Dodgers and the marquee series could be fabulous. Look, I'd love to say that I think the Phillies can do it. I think they can do it, but my money's on the Dodgers. I mean, they're going to start. They got Ohtani and Snell and Yamamoto. I mean, give me a break. It doesn't get. I mean, how do you think is Ohtani going to go just 3 innings, or is he going to go 5 or 6? I mean, that's incredible. I mean, and Glasnow's, and then they got I guess they got Kershaw as a 7th inning guy.
Sheehan,
Lineup, we've talked about the lineup. They're just too good. They're just too good. Unfortunately, they're too good.
All right. Thumbs up, thumbs down. Barry Bloom. Rick has the Dodgers.
I'm up on the Dodgers. I just totally agree.
All right, Eric.
As a Giants fan, I can't do it. I mean, it's Rick. Everything you said is spot on. I can't disagree. But I can't. I have to go thumbs down. I gotta go thumbs down. Phillies are gonna beat the Dodgers.
I hope you're right.
All right. I like the Phillies, and I just think the Dodgers are hot. I think they're going to miss Will Smith in this 5-game series. And I said before, they're vulnerable to lefties. I've always felt that. So for me, Sanchez, Suarez, and let's see what they can do. So I'm going to go.
There we go. Thumbs down.
All right. Go ahead, Eric. There's only 2 left. Yankees, Toronto, or Seattle, Detroit.
I'll take the Yankees, Toronto. Here we go. My good friend Glenn, he's my partner over there at Giant Sports Talk Live. He's talking about Trey Savage, young rookie that they brought up. Looks like he might be something.
I don't know much about him. Who is he?
It's a guy, the kid they just brought up. I guess he's supposed to be something special. It's one of their top prospects in pitching. But the most important thing, I like what Glenn says here, the last sentence. They're a good all-around team. That's one thing I do like about the Blue Jays, and they kind of are reminiscent of the Milwaukee Brewers. They pitch the ball, they catch the ball, they hit the ball. Not necessarily for power as far as hitting, but they seem to get those hits when you need them the most, and that's what I like.
They were good all year.
Yeah, they were. They're the Brewers of the American League.
Right. And look, I can't get. Yeah, it's all going to be dependent. Does this break have an issue? As far as having that time off, how it is with baseball. You get that time off. Sometimes it may be a detriment. But yeah, I like the Toronto Blue Jays taking the New York Yankees.
All right, Eric has Toronto. Rick, Toronto, up or down?
I'm going to take Toronto too.
Really? Okay. All right, Barry.
It's not going to happen. The Yankees are going to win that series.
Yeah, I'm going.
All right.
Yankees. Yeah, I'm going Yankees on this one, and I think it's the Blue Jays starting pitching is going to be the problem for me. But the Yankees needed that series against Boston to kind of get their act together, and I just think they did. All right, I'll take the easiest one: Seattle and Detroit. I'm saying it's over in 3. Ooh. Detroit does not win a game.
Yeah, you might be right.
It's over in 3, and Cal Raleigh hits 3 home runs in the 3 games.
Wow. There we go.
It's over in 3. Go ahead, Rick.
I like it. I think you might be right. I'm not sure they'll do it in 3, but I like Seattle to win.
All right, Barry.
No, I think you can't discount what Scooble means to that team. And your game 1 is Scooble. And yeah, I guess if the Mariners win game 1 and beat Scooble, it's over. But I'm not looking for that. I think they're a feisty team. I think AJ Hinch manages them well, and I think the Tigers are going to go to the championship series.
So you're picking the Tigers to win?
Yeah.
Okay, there goes your Joe's dinner. You're going to owe me a dinner if that happens. All right.
I think Seattle wins the series.
Oh, Eric's freezing up.
I don't know about going 3.
First game, is Scooble pitching the first game?
Yeah.
Yes, Scooble pitches the first game.
Yeah.
That's a little bit of an issue there for damn good.
I mean, you've got Scooble, you've got Flaherty. I mean, they've got a hell of a rotation.
No, wait a minute. Scooble does not. Scooble pitches the second game. Troy Melton is pitching the first game against Kirby.
That's why I'm.
Scooble would go 2-5.
He can only win 1 game.
He's going to go 2. If they could get to a 5th game, then all of a sudden it's trouble.
Right.
But tomorrow is Ohtani and Sanchez, Boyd and Peralta, and Boyd's going on short rest. And that Milwaukee bullpen, they'll use 8 pitchers tomorrow. The Yankees, it's Gausman and Giel. And the Tigers is Troy Melton, who's made like 4 starts the whole year, and Kirby. That's tomorrow, so pretty good. This is pretty good. All right, well, we'll do this again. This is Barry. You were terrific. Really good.
Yeah, I really enjoyed being on with all you guys. It was a great chat, and you guys are great.
That was good stuff, Barry. Really good stuff. And Rick, that was fun. This was good. And Eric, great job. And I appreciate it. Yeah, I appreciate Ryan put it together. Nice job, Ryan. So we'll do this again next week. All right. And we'll see where we were at next week. But these series are going to be terrific. I really think so. I really think these series are going to be terrific. And I think that 3-game series got us ready for it. It lived up to it.
It did.
And the right teams got knocked out.
Yes.
The right teams are gone. They had no business going any further.
You didn't like Cleveland being in there?
Come on. They can't hit it all.
Yeah,
they got one guy. They got Jose Ramirez, who's maybe the best hitter in the history of the franchise. Probably not.
They have
one hitter.
Maybe Manny Ramirez, not Jose Ramirez.
They had, Manny was a little bit better.
Not that it matters. The Cincinnati games.
Yeah.
I never saw De La Cruz get a hit the whole year.
No.
The whole year.
De La Cruz hit 2 home runs from July 31st on. That's how bad he's been this year.
Yeah, and the guy for Pittsburgh, a very similar kind of player. He can't get a hit either.
O'Neill Cruz.
It's a big strike zone, and that's why Eldridge. You got to hope Eldridge is a better hitter.
Here we go.
All right, I got to run.
All right, guys.
All right,
Barry.
Good seeing you.
That was great. Barry Bloom was great.
Okay.
Absolutely.
This was good. This was a lot of fun. All right, so we will reconvene next week and just check your local listings, and we'll put it out there. And again, we'll see if you think the Giants will have a manager by next week. No way, right?
You don't think so?
Next week?
Next week, by next weekend, I think, right? They should be able to get all the interviews done in 1 week. I mean, how long will they keep the window open to get? I mean, you're not going to interview like 20 guys.
Cleveland, if Albernez is the guy, he's available now.
Right.
Nick Hundley, he's probably available now.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. See you, Rick. All right. Thank you. All right. That's it for Rick. And all right, Eric. Right. This was good. We had fun. So I think we have, I'm going to hear Rick Robin. We have him.
Yeah, we got him. And then we can come right back.
Yeah, let's hear our last two, and then we'll come back and say goodbye.
Sounds good.
It's been a pleasure working with Rick Robin this year. Rick Robin, Robben, NapaConstruction.com. Rick, the last time you were on with us, you told us about kitchen and bath remodeling, but there's a lot more going on up in your area.
Yes, there is. ADUs, auxiliary dwelling units, which are nose to grain units. We can do your existing garage, attached garage, even building a new unit in the back. And so what we do is come out, bring our architect out there. Such a great thing. No sewer hookup fees, no water hookup fees. So that's what we do.
Rick, how does one start the process with you? How does one get in touch with you?
Oh, you call Tammy, 707-332-7575, 7 days a week.
Rick Robin, ConstructionNapa.com. Rick, the thing I like about this, no problem for me. You come out with the plans, the permits, everything is in-house, no fees, and you get a new unit that you can rent out and get money back on your investment right away. I like it, Rick.
Thanks, Marty. Love talking to you.
Rick Robin, ConstructionNapa.com. Fans, Bridge Bank delivers their clients full relationship banking, including treasury management solutions and global market services. Bridge Bank offers financing solutions to businesses for their working capital, equipment, and real estate needs. This is very important in today's world. Fred Voss is the Senior Managing Director of Bridge Bank's commercial lending efforts in Northern California. He has commercial banking teams in San Jose with Jesse Garcia, San Francisco, Oakland, Cheadle, Cordova, and in Pleasanton. Bridge Bank, it's like banking at home. I can't say enough about it.
All right, good to be back. I'm just looking at these prop bets, which are interesting. Will there be a sweep, right? And will there be a sweep? Yes, minus 250. No, plus 170. So they're predicting there will be a sweep in here by somebody.
Wow. Interesting.
Will any game go to the 11th inning or beyond?
Ooh.
So it's plus 300, yes, which means they don't think they'll go. No, minus 500. Wow. How many games will reach game 5? Over under is 1.5. So 2 of the 4 series would have to get to. How many lower seeded teams will advance? The over under is 1.5. So
wow.
I'm telling you, this is going to be fun.
It is.
Because there's pitching all over the place, and the way the game is played today, you run in 5 or 6 pitchers at a time.
Right.
This is what you do, and somebody's going to get hot, and the bullpen's going to. The Cubs will be winning the game 4-3, and they'll run that bullpen in, and they'll retire 9 in a row. It's going to happen.
And to your point, Marty, if it's all about the 3 true outcomes, well, that tells me there ain't many guys just getting hits when you need them. It's all about the long ball or nothing. And as you said, with the way the pitching has been, if you don't have guys in your lineup that are just going to make contact and that you're okay with getting strikeouts all over the place, it's going to be a long day for that team. It's going to, of course, you got to pitch the ball.
Will Shohei Ohtani strike out the side in an inning? Yes, plus 300.
Really?
You can get 300. You get 3-1.
Wow.
And no 500. How about that? What will happen first? An immaculate inning? Minus 130, or inside the park home run, minus 110.
Wow.
I would think the inside the park.
Inside the park seems a little bit more. Yeah.
I mean, the immaculate inning, there's only been 20 in the history of the game, right? Or something ridiculous. All right. I had a lot of fun on this show. J.E., thank you so much. Ryan did a great job.
Yes.
This was good. All right, so we'll do it again next week, and let's see where we are, and we'll pick it up. And then, boy, Giants have a lot of work to do.
They do.
Giants have a lot of work to do. I'm glad we had this discussion tonight about all the other teams and where the Giants fit into this picture.
Right.
What do you think about Rick's idea of trading Eldridge?
I'm not opposed to it. I'm not opposed to it. And for the simple fact, do I want him to be a Giant? Sure. The potential is there. But to Rick's point, the Giants have a lot of that type of offensive production in the lineup. And to that point, look how many lefties. You got Devers, Jung-Hoo Lee, Patrick Bailey, because on the right side, he's not much. And then if you bring back Dom Smith for some reason, if you do, that's 4 in the lineup. And then you add Aldridge, you got 5 lefties in the lineup. Now, if Dom Smith doesn't come back, now you're to 4. That's still pretty lefty heavy for a lineup. And I don't, does that work? Maybe. I don't know.
Boy, that would be interesting. They need, I hate to say it again, I said it all last year, they need Billy Owens, the talent evaluator from the A's. They need Billy Owens to go out and make some of these trades, because he finds these kind of players that all of a sudden you move Ramos and you got a second baseman who hits 290, gets on. Billy Owens is the guy. It's too bad the Giants didn't include him in this little troika or whatever they got going up there. He would do a good job. All
Glenn
right.
says, great entertainment, good guests. Yes, thanks, Glenn. Valerie says, keep Dom. I approve that message.
It's not impossible. I don't
Maybe
know.
have him in the outfield.
It's not impossible. They could do it. This Giant offseason is going to be fascinating. I think if Ryan cuts up little clips, we got a lot to work with in this show. And one of them would be trading Eldridge by Rick Smith.
Absolutely.
All right. Everyone have a good night. Be safe. And I appreciate it. And we'll be back with you next week.
Take care, everyone.
Thank you kindly. Enjoy the next week. We've got a whole bunch of baseball to speak on here at Marty and